In this episode of Designing Minds, we kick off New York Fashion Week with costume design extraordinaire Christian Joy. From meager beginnings to costume design for Karen O, the lead singer of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Christian blurs the lines between fashion and art for her latest exhibit.
This is Christian Joy, and I'm on Designing Minds. School just wasn't really for me, so then I came here and they had all the young designers that kind of making quirky stuff, and my friend and I would be like, oh, we can make that. and so then I thought, oh, maybe I should try, and then someone saw something that I made and they were like, oh, I really like that, and they put it in their store, and it was just t-shirts, but they sold out like right away. Then I worked just at this little 6th Street store, Daryl K. 6th Street store, and that was basically where I met like everybody that I know, because that store was like such a cool, like small store, and all the kind of really cool East Village girls would come in there and just hang around and talk. And she would come in and she'd kind of talk, and I was like, who's that weird girl? And then she came in one day and said, here, listen to my band. And I was like, oh, they're gonna suck, I kind of really want to listen to it. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then she goes, will you make something for our show? And I was like, yeah, totally. And then right after that show, it just all of a sudden was like, everybody wanted to do press on them. I was kind of more thrust into the whole thing than anything else. She's very cool with like, just letting me go for it, Like she might say like, okay, I'm sick of everybody shooting up my skirt. Can you make me a pair of shorts? Pretty much I'll make like maybe five outfits for tour for her to wear. By the end of them, they're usually like done, like by the end of the tour. She's been a lot better on them lately than what she was. Before it was like, I remember looking up at the stage and she'd be like pouring something on it and I'd be like, oh my God, I just, spent so much time on that. But, at the same time, it's sort of like, when you look at a really cool old, like say Vivienne Westwood piece and that it's just been through hell and high water, and it gives it so much more than if you just saw it like in its original state. I'm kind of like psyched that she does it because it gives it more energy, ultimately. And I think it's really exciting for people to be able to see that. My process ends up being where I start off sort of conservatively. Say I want to make a skeleton suit, it would be kind of funny. And then as it starts going, I'm like, this is kind of boring. And then it just kind of always ends up going like, oh, wait, I could do this and I could do that. And it's kind of like, how can I take these different pieces apart from it, Like, okay, well then I can take this bone and turn it into this. Deconstructing the whole idea of like what the body is about, what the skeleton is about. It's funny because every time I go into like an art gallery or like a museum, I'm like, I could totally do this, And it's the same feeling that I felt when I first was working at Antique Boutique and saw all the clothes. This show that I'm doing is supposed to sort of be a transition into sculpture and like more artwork. It's always kind of been like a dream to like walk into a room and really have it just be completely like, if you were walking inside my mind. I gave everyone this concept of like, you give me a being, like it can be human, it can be a robot from outer space, it can have 18 legs, and then I'm going to make an outfit based on what you've given me, this idea. And then what I'm going to do is give it back to you guys, and you guys make a piece of artwork. all of their artwork is sort of done almost like an inspiration wall. It's just supposed to be kind of like a beginning to the end process, and also kind of a transition stage of like where I kind of really want to take things. My mom came up with a really good one about this woman who's like a moonshiner and like she is just wanting to do things herself. It's so funny because she starts talking about how she has all these cats, and the cats are all like almost like on acid trips and stuff, and they're hiding out with her in the woods. I looked through a lot of like old Depression photos. The women wore like, you know, the flour sack dresses. But that's going to be more like hand embroidered and drawn on, and sort of trying to take all these different elements of her story, because there's so many elements of it that, you know, I have to try to do it justice. Throughout history, like, there's always been somebody who's been doing it, you know, whatever they wanted. It's not like that's anything new. So, you know, just really kind of pushing that, you know, that idea of like, there's always been eccentrics, and, you know, people have always been doing their own thing.